Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of What the Fuck FIA. Yes, after a video going off about Sutton Images, who, as far as I can tell, haven't been on their photo Nazi spree like they were a while ago. I like to think I had a small part to do with that, even though probably has nothing to do with me whatsoever. I like to keep my ego up. And on the topic of keeping things up, this video is about the 2014 F1 cars that have been revealed to us so far. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, welcome to Formula One. Google 2014 Formula One or F1 car, and you will see what I'm about to describe. For those of you who have seen them, I think I'm safe in saying that they all look like they have giant penises on the front. Now, while I have no problem with a decently shaped penis, nothing wrong with that whatsoever, I can't say I've seen one that big or obtrusive since I watched Valentin and Ilya, Sebastian Vettel in those tight pants, and then Kimi was drunk, so they went to the stables, and Taki Inoue. But regardless, they all just... I am watching my sport, the sport that I love, the sport that I get up at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning to watch, become the laughingstock of not just the motorsport world, but the world at large. Ann Summers made a comment. The Ann Summers collection made a comment on the Tarasso nose, saying that it looked like one of their sex toys. I mean, how much worse can you get? This is insane. And I don't quite know why the hell, one, the FIA in their infinite wisdom didn't see this coming, or two, why they had to tool around with the formula in the first place. People will say, oh, you'll get used to it and shit, but I still haven't gotten used to the new 2009 era looking cars. I still haven't gotten used to the V8s. I remember when I was a kid, a very small child, and I was one short-ass child, watching F1 and listening to that screaming engine, that howl, that beautiful town to the V-Send. Okay. But I never got used to the V8 engines. They were okay, but I never got used to them. I never got used to the new aero rigs that they instituted after 2008 for God knows what reason. Let's screw with the formula and make everything shit. I guess that's what they thought at the time. But I don't know whether Bernie has gone senile, Chantal has gone French, or Charlie Whiting has gone full bitch mode, but something has gone wrong here. The idea of these low noses is, on the surface, a good one, but also an unnecessary one. It was to prevent side cockpit intrusions. I forget this technical term. There's going to be some other kind of intrusion now with the way the noses are, but the primary purpose was to prevent a car T-boning another and it hitting the driver. Except we haven't had an accident like that one, bar a weird set of circumstances in 2010's Abu Dhabi race where nothing came of it and nothing happened. If you're someone like Valentin who wants them to drive around in what are basically padded cells at 2 miles an hour, then maybe you want these low noses, but the rest of us normal people don't. I don't understand the need for them. It's stupid, and the rule was obviously written in an ambiguous enough way that we get these noses that we have now. This isn't like one team went out there and like, I have a really clever way to circumvent this whole low nose rule. Let's make a penis nose. No, this is the entire field. Every single car that has been shown so far has a penis. Lotus even went so far as to have a shark penis nose on their car. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, but you can just trust me, you don't have to. Trust me, that's what it is. It's wide-held design methodology, rather. So the rules were obviously worded that this was the only logical conclusion by, so far, half the field. So with that in mind, how did the FIA not see this coming? Or do they want their sport to become the laughingstock of the entire racing world? I don't really get it, especially when there are two really simple ways around it. One, you go back to the 2008 spec cars. Those noses were pretty low. I think just about as low as they want them now. You had some really awesome sci-fi looking cars, and if you're not into that, that's okay, but still. You had cars that when you looked at them, they looked ferocious. They looked like they were going to go a million miles an hour. They looked technical. They looked like someone spent hundreds of hours on designing one of those little protrusions that you'd see on the BMW Williams machines, especially in 2007. It looked like it had effort put into it, unlike the 2009 to 2013 spec cars, which looks like a kid just drew a line and a curve, and somebody told him the word diffuser, and he went with it. So you go back to 2008 spec cars, you're still dealing with wings and diffusers generating most of the downforce, with a couple extra bits and bobs here and there, and you're home free. You can try and limit some of the bodywork if you don't want it to produce as much downforce, because we got to satisfy the safety. Don't get me started on that. It's over sanitized as it is. We don't need to go down that road anymore. So you could do that, or if you want to completely shake up the formula, like the FIA seemed to want to, instituting the V6 engines, which are more expensive than the V8 engines, despite being introduced because they said that they were going to save costs, even though they're going to cost more money to develop and build. Don't get me down that road again. Another way that we could shake up the design, go back to ground effect. I know, right? It's like it's never been thought of before. Oh, wait, they knew about it in the 70s. And this sport is supposed to be on the cutting edge of technology. Idiots. Go back to ground effect. You get the low nose. In some cases, you don't even need to have a nose. Now, obviously, for the safety quakers out there, like Valentine, you would not be able to do full ground effect because Charlie Whiting would be red flagging the race every 5 seconds because someone's going too fast. So you could introduce a sort of hybrid system where you still have a front and rear wing body. You still have to have some sort of geometry, but the majority of the downforce could still be derived from a ground effect diffuser combination, and then what you would have is more technical freedom, so they would have the ability to design the cars as they want, which is one of the unique features about Formula One not being a spec series. And then, on top of that, you would eliminate the problem of the penis nose, because without the diffuser being the prominent underside characteristic, you want, instead of wanting as much airflow underneath the car, you want to seal the undertray of the car and basically suck it to the ground. Oh my. Sucking things with phallic noses? Oh dear. Tacky. Tacky. Where's Tacky? No, don't do that with the Tara. No. Put the Tara Rosso nose down. What were we saying? Anyway, you would have a different design methodology in there, and that would, in and of itself, eliminate these weird-looking noses. You wouldn't need to worry about the step noses then. But that would require somebody at the FIA having something called a brain, which I don't think anyone there does. They see dollar signs and they see TV view counts, which are probably going to go down. Okay, you might have an increase with the female audience, which is great. You know, the more people in F1, the happier guy I am. But I don't think the vast majority of people want to see this. But then again, what are we going to do about it? Name, like Side Podcast and Will Buxton were saying a couple of days ago, the FIA has become basically anti-fan. They didn't listen to us when we didn't want the nose designs and the body designs in 2009. They didn't listen to us when, for probably the better part of a decade, we wanted the tires to not have those stupid-ass grooves in them. They didn't listen to us when no one really had a problem with refueling besides Keith Collentine, who's a relic anyway. They didn't listen to us when we said the Pirellis are exploding and are shit. They didn't listen to us when we said we don't want the V6 engines. They didn't listen to us when we said we didn't want any more of those boring Tilkodromes. They didn't listen to us when we said we were tired of seeing Bernie do a bunch of crap that anybody else would be arrested and imprisoned for. And they didn't listen to us now with these noses. They didn't also listen to us with the whole double points thing. Instead saying, yeah, so the cars can now weigh like a kilogram more or something like that. They're out of touch. And I don't know why, seeing as it's the world's most popular, one of the world's most popular sports. It is definitely the most popular way to watch motorsport in the world. But it's probably second to football as a world audience. It's just, I don't know what they're thinking. And it's stupid. And something's gotta change, because it's a joke. Formula One has become a joke. And to be honest, if it continues down this path, I'm going to be looking at another career. End of. So in that bombshell, I will see you guys later. Have a good one.